Hey, what's up guys? In today's video, I would like to talk to you about what happened to me those past 3 days with my DS216+II unit. Well, to make a long story short, the device failed completely from, in an unrecoverable way. So actually what happened, usually I make some drive defrag on my NAS, every 3 months when I think about it. And after a half an hour of, the process that was going on, I started to have a lot of error messages that popped up on my NAS and also that I received, by email. There was a lot of, in IO errors, and then suddenly I started to have a bad sector on my NAS. So actually, the smart test that I do regularly never said anything about a bad sector of or input-output errors. So actually, on the drive number 2, what I had is on the smart attributes, I had a very high rate, high values in a small, at a small time of read error rate. So that was probably a bad sign. So anyway, I did like everyone, I guess, that I ordered a new disk, the same one, the same brand, and I shut down the NAS gracefully, which took 4 times more than usual, and I replaced the drive. And suddenly what happened is that when I wanted to turn it back on, nothing happened. There was just the fan working and the discs spinning, but nothing was going on. There were no LED lights on the front, absolutely no lights, and also no lights on the Ethernet port, which is usually bad if you don't have, lights, because this is very basic stuff. So, well, I decided to make some tests, with other disks, to replace the disk, to put the old ones back, etc. Blah, blah, blah. Nothing worked. So, well, I got resigned that my device, my motherboard completely failed. So I ordered a DS218 plus device unit. And I wanted to make the migration, quite easy. So first of all, I was afraid because I had a bad sector on my NAS and I had a lot of errors, read errors. And I was afraid of what was going to happen. Fortunately, the RAID was not in a degraded state, and I was able to make a graceful shutdown. So actually, what I checked was it was all the different possibilities of migration, and I took the easiest one, which was the HDD migration. Although because I don't want to copy a lot of data back if something was was going to happen. So I chose HDD migration. Fortunately, the 216+II is not in this list, and I was migrating from a plus series to a plus series, which meant that everything was okay. It was considered as migratable. So I read, everything was okay, and then suddenly I saw this. Please note that this method required reinstalling DSM and all packages under this destination Synology NAS, and it also said that you will lose this kind of information. So I was very worried, and I didn't find any information on the internet. Will I really lose a lot of information? Will I have to reinstall all my packages? So, well, I had no choice anyway. And so I also read in this step, for the migration step, that it said also that some data and settings will still be lost. So this is quite worrisome, for me, that everything is working fine with my disks, with my volume, with my data, and I will probably lose the packages, the settings of the packages, and the settings of the DSM. So anyway, I had no choice. So what I did, I've put the old drives in the system, in the unit, and I powered it on. And of course, with the find.synology.com, it said that the unit or the DSM was not installed, and I will have to install it. But it also detected that my disk came from the 216 unit, and that I'm going to put it in that 218 unit, and it said that my system is migratable, which is great. So of course my system crashed just before the new update, so it asked me also to to put it in the latest version, so it did. And then when it started back back up after all of this, I was happily surprised that I didn't lose anything on my NAS. No DSM settings, no packages settings. Everything was like nothing happened. I was able to decrypt my shared folders. I had all my users, my groups, my permissions, my privileges for the applications, my mail plus settings for mail plus server settings, for example. I just had a problem with my McAfee license, and Synology support told me that I had to update in the package, and it would ask me to migrate from one NAS to another one if I wanted to. But this did not appear, so I had to reinstall the McAfee package. But that's it, everything was working fine. I was also able to take back from the old unit. Actually, I bought a new 8 gigabyte RAM. So I've installed this new 8 gigabyte of RAM on my NAS of the 18 unit, and it was extremely simple because you have a slot on the right side of the disks that you can put another module, so you do not replace the existing one, you just put a new one if you want. So now my system has the 2 original gigabyte RAM and an additional 8, and the system now just works perfectly. So when I booted up, I was lucky to find that my volume was not in a degraded state. So what I did is that I decided to deactivate the faulty drive. So to take it off of the storage pool, I shut down the NAS. I've put the new disk, and now it's just repairing the RAID, and everything is working flawlessly. So kudos to Synology, because I was really afraid that I had to reinstall absolutely all these packages with all the entire configuration, with the restoration of the configuration file of some hyper backups, and it was not the case. So also my UPS unit that was not considered as compatible, it was not in the compatibility list of the 18 model, actually is recognized, and which is great because everything now works flawlessly. So if you guys are wondering if you would like to migrate from the 16 to the 18, it seems to be possible without losing anything. But of course, you may lose some things like surveillance station maybe, or I don't know what. They have a list of some possible problems that you can have. But in this case, it's like that nothing happened. So, well, I took a shot, and I had no choice actually, and it worked. So if you are one day in the same situation than mine, I hope that it will go as smoothly for you as it was for me. So see you next time. Bye bye.